By the way, if you've just come across this channel, I have got alopecia, so don't be frightened, okay? Middle-aged women lose their hair. It's very common. So don't be too worried about it. But also, I've had alopecia since my 20s, so please don't be frightened, little bunnies. It'll be all right. Once you kind of hang around a little bit, you'll find out that I'm actually quite a normal person. I wanted to tell you about my number 7 purchases. This is a colour stick. It is lip and cheek. It's rose gold is the highlight and peach coral. I do love it. You just kind of blend it in. It's actually quite stiff, you know. Some cream blush are very malleable, but this one is relatively stiff actually. I find it quite difficult to find a complementary colour to my sallow olive skin. I think this colour is okay. I think that's a lovely warm highlighter, don't you? It's not very cold and it's not very stark. I find when I put it on my brow bone, it's not over the top, especially in the daytime. You know, you don't want anything that is too theatrical. In a previous video, I talked about my eyes, that the upper eyelids are kind of becoming puffy. The skin is a little bit loose and they're tending to droop. So I've had to kind of think again about how I'm going to apply my eyeshadow. I decided I don't get on with powder shadow, and number 7 do these kind of, they're called shade and define. Basically, they're this kind of thing. They are obviously a cream. And I bought a very, very mellow brown. It's more of a brownish highlighter type thing, which I put across my entire eyelid. And also underneath as well, all over. And then I intensify the colour, which is a deeper brown, a more intense brown, and I put that on the outside of my lid, and I swoop it up so that I don't have to be putting anything really on the crease area. First of all, it'll get eaten up by the skin. When you open your eyes and your skin is drooping, whatever you put in that area goes into the creases, and anyway you can't see it. So I focus on the bottom part of my upper eye, really. And I love applying a cream shadow because you can blend it in. One color can blend nicely into the other and it doesn't look drying. I think that's what I didn't like very much about using the powder eyeshadow on my aging skin around my eyes. It just made the skin look all the more drier. But then by the same token, to tell you the truth, when I wash my skin at night, I put on rose hip oil. It's a natural oil with a very intense color. See that? And I put a good amount on my hands. I warm it in my hands and I put it all around my eyes, all around my face and sort of down here. And in the morning, my skin is so much more malleable and more hydrated looking, so that when you put your shadow on, it glides on nicely, it sits nicely on the skin, and it doesn't have any drying effect. And I really love that. When I have got a full face of makeup on, I always make sure to do my eyebrows. I've actually talked about how I go about doing my eyebrows. And you know, when I go and pick up my HRT, the number 7 lady is there and we go through all of their stuff. And I buy everything number 7. I'm very happy, for example, with my mascara at the moment. This is Lash Extender mascara. I've been using it for about 4 years now, and it's moisturizing, it's soft, it's supple, but it's really quite lengthening. And my very, very most favorite lip application at the moment is this. It's ever so glossy. It's called Daydreamer. It's natural, but it's polished, and I think it's got that sophisticated something. It really does. When I look at it here in the mirror on my upper lip, I'm not sure it really picks it up very well, but there's a very pale shell pink colour included in the darker pink here that highlights the bow of the lip so nicely. I'm a big believer that when you find something that works quite well for you, that you should buy multiples, because who knows when these crazy people are going to decide to stop producing those things. I can't afford for that. It's so rare that I go into a shop and I find a cosmetic that I get on very well with. And there are a few things that I really value in a cosmetic, and that is obviously quality, also the color. Not only does it need to complement my skin tone, but it also needs to be an interesting color, you know, as a standalone thing. Because I happen to think that when you put color on your face, be it on your eyes, your cheeks, your lips, I'm a big believer in not being too subtle about it. Obviously not going over the top either, but there is an intrinsic beauty in the color itself that does a lot of the legwork for you. So when people are looking at your face, they're also getting to appreciate the beauty of that color. And I think a good cosmetic, there's been some work behind the scenes to choose beautiful colors that are beautiful colors by themselves, regardless of your skin tone. But if you can marry the two together, have a beautiful color and something that suits you, you're kind of on a winning streak. And I buy multiples of those. So for those ladies who haven't come across this channel before, I wonder what you're thinking now. I wonder if you're thinking, my God, look at the state of this woman's hair. Well, the people who have been following this channel for a while, and actually, I hate to tell you this, but we're actually quite a large community on YouTube now, and probably TikTok, I don't know. We've been experiencing hair loss for a very, very long time. So if you're experiencing hair loss in your midlife, rest assured that some of us have been experiencing it since our teens, since our 20s, where it has been just getting worse as we've been getting older. So we've had a very, very long time to learn to manage our emotions about it, and to also change our thinking about the significance of it. And last but not least, to find ways of overcoming the taboo of wearing hair. And I think in a lot of ways that's kind of hand in hand with the severity factor of the subject matter. You know, it is taboo for women to lose their hair. It has an awful lot of significance on a social and spiritual and kind of health level. But also the idea of somebody wearing a wig or wearing a topper is taboo in its own way, because there's the feeling, or, you know, it's infused with the meaning that that woman is trying to hide her hair loss out of pure shame. In 2025, we have been very successful in usurping that whole story, because wearing hair has been a very common thing for a very long time. Celebrities have done it, people in the public eye do it all the time, and have done for a very long time. And you can buy these things on TikTok, for heaven's sake. Now, you can buy these things on TikTok. The the artisan quality of these pieces has improved so much. You no longer have problems with that nest of permatease that for some strange reason they have decided to put right at the front, sticking up like a little bird's nest. You know, it's like you're back in the 1800s and you've got a nice bird's nest fascinator. All I need to do is just get a little stuffed bird sitting there and I've got the full effect. So we don't have to go through any of that. This is my hair. My hair loss is extensive. It's over the top, it's at the back, it's at the sides. I tried for a long time to manage this hair loss by disguising it with various lotions and potions, sprays and root concealer and all sorts of things. And I want to show you basically what I'm going to put on right now. Now I'm going to put this on in real time. And if I'm going to put it on in real time, I'd better give it a brush because I really don't want you to get the wrong impression, okay? If this is the first time that you are meeting a topper, I'd quite like you to be friends. So let's see if we can make the best of it and see how fast and convenient the entire process is. I can see the transformation happening before my very eyes. This is my own hair. This is the topper hair, hence the name. You see, it just sits on top. And you integrate your own hair with it in a very pleasing way. It's a very palatable way to your psyche. You don't have to do a lot of acrobatics to accept what you are putting on your head because the effects speak for themselves. Now, I was caught in the rain. It became kind of kinky a little bit. You know, this has obviously got a wave and a curl to it. You can decide to leave it au naturel, sort of very natural hair. I mean, this is what people's hair look like. Or you can decide to just run a straightener through it. If you wanted to, just the same as you would with your own hair, for heaven's sake. You know, for that sort of straight effect. Now, I'll do that a little bit, seeing as I have done it already on the other side. But I'm only going to do it for illustration purposes only. Just to illustrate that I don't know what kind of magicians they have in the factories when they make these. Now, I've been able to look at it on TikTok and I can see a Chinese factory with a lady sitting at a table, and she has several heads with these kind of wigs and toppers on them, and she is hand cutting them, obviously. Where were these people trained, and how come you can't find hairdressers like that up the high street? I mean, their ability and their talent is truly incredible. The way they layer these things. I cut the fringe in this myself, by the way. I've got another one exactly like this, same length and everything, but it just has a side parting and it doesn't have a fringe at all. But you know, this is lovely the way it's fallen. I didn't mean for it to part like this. It just sort of separated where it naturally would. And I really feel that, it's giving me my life back, to tell you the truth, because I don't really want to go out balding, you know? I'm sure you can understand.